Broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Hey, I'm Ted Jenkin, bringing you the post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank. You can always catch a replay of all of the entire podcast that we do on shrimptankpodcast.com, or you can follow us on Twitter at Shrimp Tank. I'm here with my co-host Chris Hanks, and we interviewed today Brandon Lewis, who is the proprietor of Supply and Demand, which is an unbelievable establishment here in Atlanta. He's also the president of Click Models, and he's an owner in BenchMark Consulting. An unbelievable interview if you hear it all today, and I enjoyed thoroughly the answers that you gave today. And for young entrepreneurs that are watching this post-show wrap-up, what would you tell them in all of your businesses if you had to try and squeeze them together and say, this is the single biggest mistake that you want to avoid when you start a business? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to make sure that they follow through when they meet people and talk to people about the opportunities that they're looking to present. And I would tell them that they need to ask for the business. You don't do those two things, and very little chance that you'll be successful.
That's so funny. So many salespeople never ask for the business.
Nope.
I mean, you've got to ask for it.
They tell you everything else and why it's all good, but they never say you need to go ahead and buy this or order this now, and I'll make sure that you're happy with it. You need to ask for the business, and you need to follow through with people. People remember the people that don't follow through.
So you've got such a diversity of experience owning multiple businesses. What's the one thing that you wish you knew before you started any of those?
I think I wish I would have known a little bit more about, how to handle the back-end financial side and set the companies up appropriately, strategically. I think in understanding accounting principles, which I do, it doesn't apply when it's your business. And, I think Ted could tell you pretty quickly, a lot of really smart people that are brilliant in so many ways, when it comes to the back-end financial side. I won't say that they're a mess, but it's impossible to manage that part of your life and business while also trying to go out there and blaze trails. So if I would have known a little bit more about the importance of doing that, I would have probably started with a CPA early on and paid the $300 a month she wanted to charge me, versus just saying I'm smart enough to do that on my own.
A lot of people will skimp on the legal counsel until after the fact, which is the worst time that you want to have that happen. I'm curious, in running these multiple businesses, we've discussed on the Shrimp Tank podcast that culture is important. And how do you, the owner, drive the culture in multiple businesses so the product that you put out to your customers the way that you want to see it?
It's a great question. Well, me personally, the people that work for us, the line of demarcation between a good group or a good restaurant or a good bar or a good anything and a great one is dental floss thin. And a lot of people can be good, but very few can be great. Same with companies. I don't settle, we don't micromanage, but, attention to detail in all business is really important. And if you breed that culture by showing and doing, you probably get a good result. If you don't and you just speak it, you won't.
So how do you find good talent to handle all of that? Do you have a secret or a tactic or any kind of filter that you use to recruit people?
Yeah, no. I mean, what I have done really in the past is allow the business to take flight and then kind of let it settle in. And, people come to you, they always tell you, and my practice has always been when people come to me and say, I'll do this for you if you pay me X, I always say, well, if you do X for me, I'll actually pay you X and a half, okay? But you're going to have to show me first. And not that I would ask them to work for free, but, you have to prove yourself. And if you can prove yourself, you can put your money where your mouth is. So we kind of force them to be skin in the game people in the beginning without getting equity necessarily. But everybody says they can do everything if you pay them. We're of the mindset that if you can do it, we'll pay you a little bit more, and we'll have a great relationship.
So for folks that are watching the wrap-up today, how can they get in touch with you if they want to learn more about booking an event at supply and demand, or they want to figure out how to use the modeling agency. There actually is many uses. We've used the models before for events, or simply something happens to their business or their home and they've got to get you between them and the insurance company. How can they get in touch with you?
Well, they can certainly call me, they can certainly email me on my personal email, brandonslewis@gmail, or they can go to mylossconsultant.com, and there's a forum on there, clickmodels.com, same thing. But if they send me an email to my email address, I will certainly respond to them and copy the appropriate people at the companies to work with them and help them with whatever they're looking for.
Well, folks, you should really go take a look at the whole entire interview on shrimptankpodcast.com. We heard some great stuff today from Brandon about if you're going to start a business, go for it. Don't always have to think through the whole thing. Yeah, you need a business plan, but you got to go for it. And if you see that space, you got to try and hit the hole. He talked today, too, about getting the right partners, that sometimes taking on an equity partner is not a bad thing. And if you take one on, you not only want to get somebody that has money, but also potentially intellectual capital that can grow your business as well. You ought to hear the rest of the interview because I think it'll help you become a better business owner. And thank you for watching the Shrimp Tank Podcast post-show wrap-up.